Discussion on this, all signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes, no's. Okay, be 4-1 since Ms. Gunnerman is not here at the moment. All right. Now, do we want to go ahead and go on back in now, Mr. Burrow?
Yeah, you could call the regular board meeting to order.
All right. I'm watching the screen here. I'm sorry. Yes. Call the regular meeting to order. And at this moment, we have 4-1. We have another one will be here in a few moments. For Ms. Gunnerman. All right. And Mr. Burrow, do you want to go ahead and give your
I just have just a little bit of information. I mean, the board members have, or will be getting or have my January evidence for my standards I go by. I give the new board members, I give this monthly, so it helps for evaluations and everything. Just kind of keep up, and you'll get the whole packet for the whole year at the end of the year in June. So that's just for you to keep. I do want to go ahead and once again, like I said on Tuesday, this is School Board Appreciation Month. I want to thank each board member for what you do for the kids in the county. So thank you. We appreciate you, and welcome to the new board members. Welcome to your calling. This is the calling for the kids, so thank you. I just want to give some information that you may not know, kind of keep you up the loop. We are ending tomorrow. Be 3 weeks in a row that we have AB going. We have not had to shut down. The staff numbers are looking good. We plan on going next week the same. Just give you an idea. We have 85% of our kids are back in school doing AB, and 15% are all virtual. So that's a pretty high number back in school and doing well. One other thing that I like to talk, I'm going to have Jody come up in a minute, but Jody and Laura Beth held a district elementary meeting with kindergartens, then one with first grade and one with second grade. All three elementaries got together because I'm going to let Jody explain about the meeting, but a team effort because this virtual and this pandemic, things are different, and it's good to everybody be on the same page and kind of see what they want to do to move forward for our kids. I'm going to let Jody explain more about the meeting.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Burrow, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Burrow on the board. Yesterday, Ms. Laura Beth Austin, who is our math coach and our new teacher coordinator, we met virtually with all of the kindergarten teachers at one time throughout the district, then all the first grade, then all the second grade teachers. The goal of this meeting was to talk about, with the interrupted school year we have had, to talk about what some of the essential math and reading skills that they need to be assessing their students for, to decide about future individual needs of each student. So we were talking about, if we have a summer program to work with students who are struggling or have fallen behind due to our interrupted school year, what things would we want to focus on? Because if we have a summer school program, we want to make sure that we're addressing the right skills. We don't want to be looking at them, because each grade level standards, a whole year standards, is a lot of information. And if we had a summer program, we want to make sure that's focused on the most essential skills of those standards. I really want to thank the teachers that participated. Some of the principals joined some of those meetings. The teachers, it was wonderful to get to see their faces. I don't see them like I'm used to seeing, and we all miss each other, but it was great. They had great conversation. I started the meeting with kind of getting them talking a little bit about it, and the teachers, they took ownership. They discussed the standards. They discussed things they see with their students, and it was great to see them talking with each other. All three schools, teachers were talking with each other. They also brought information from when they had already talked to the grade level above them teachers. You can tell they're collaborating really well with other teachers in their school. I was just really excited. We had good conversation, and I think we've got a good list of some things that we want to focus on as we work with our students if they're struggling due to the way our school year has gone with the interruptions. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jody. What this has started, I've been talking to Jody about, we're going to need some summer program. not the old just summer school, a summer program. A lot of our districts around us, we're just talking, how are we going to catch up some kids that need to be caught up? We have some, and David's going to talk to you a little bit about, hopefully we'll get to use what's called ESSER funds. It's the federal funds we're getting. Hopefully we'll get to use some of it for programs we could help kids in the summer, pay teachers and everything else to come in and help our kids. So we need to know where our kids are. And this is one of the things that I've talked to Jody about that we want to work on. What do we need to do? What's the plan for the summer? We just don't want a summer school. We want a summer program that's going to help the kids that need to be helped. So that's where all this started out, I think, with the teachers talking to each other, because the kids is what we got to focus on right now due to what's happened with this pandemic. So that's all I have at this point. If anybody has any questions.
Will that only be available for, what'd you say, kindergarten through third grade?
No, we're going to look all the way through. We're just starting our planning stages right now.
I got you.
Okay. Guess we can go on. I guess the first thing is construction item. Mr. Burrow, you taking Ashley's place?
Yeah, I'll take Ashley's place. Is Mr. Jackson, our architect, on? Somebody sit there. He is. Mr. Jackson, would you like to talk about this owner contract for the HVAC at Calhoun?
Mr. Jackson, your mic is not
Your
on.
mic is muted.
Well, of course it is. Is that better now?
Yeah.
Better.
Good afternoon, everybody. As you know, we have accepted the bid. We did that at the last board meeting. At the time, we did not have the contract prepared because we were waiting to get the alternate decision from the board. So that happened. And so then we filled out the contract documents and got the contract submitted to KDE, and part of their process or part of their review process, their review letters will be to confirm that the board has approved the contract. So we provided you an unsigned prepared contract for you to approve. It's the Kentucky Department of Education official contract document. It's not like you can't, it's not like you could approve something different, but it's in their approval process that the board should approve the contract. So that's what we're here today for.
All right. Mr. Burrow, you have any comments?
No, we already approved the contract, but this is the AIA document that KDE. Hey, Mr. Jackson, do we have to sign this, or just a copy?
This is just a copy for your approval. Don't sign anything today. As I said, we've actually gone ahead and posted it to the KDE site, and when they send back their official approval, and actually, I think I'll double check their documentation. Until you sell your bonds and have your money in hand, I don't think you're supposed to sign the contract.
Okay.
So basically you hold it until you get something from me that says sign the contract.
All right.
And I think the bonds are going to be sold next month. Is that right, David and Scott?
Yes, sir. We'll have the board resolution for the Finance Corporation to sell bonds at the February meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
So my recommendation, Mr. Miller, would be approve the owner contractor contract for Calhoun HVAC project.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Burrow. Hearing that, would someone entertain a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Bumpus. Thank you. If no other discussion, I'll signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so should be 5-0. Thank y'all. All right, and then next would be consider approval of consent agenda. I think we went over most of this Tuesday. I don't know if there's someone had any more questions on them and we need to pull one out, or if not, why I asked Mr. Burrow to recommend Yeah, but if you want a moment to look over them again, you can.
I'm good. Bumpus. I'm good.
Alrighty.
Good.
Yeah,
All right. Good with it? All right. Mr. Burrow?
Okay, I recommend we approve the consent agendas.
All right. Recommendation to approve the consent agenda. All signify by saying yes.
Yes.
We need a second.
Yes. So I think that's 5-0 again.
Mr. Miller, we need a
No.
motion and a
A
second.
motion and a second.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm trying to keep things rolling and I skip over it sometimes. Okay, a motion? Who makes the motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Ms. Bumpus, second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Now then, let's try voting again.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes, so 5-0. All right.
I would like to, Mr. Miller, we have in the consent agenda, nutrition and physical activity report. Does, Melody, I know you had a forum. Do you want to mention anything about that? Sorry, approved, but do you want to mention what the forum said?
Yes, if she can, she's available, isn't she?
Yes, but sometimes her mic, I don't know if she could go to another
Here we
room.
go.
Yes, we hear you.
Every year we have the wellness report that we work together with the health committee, which is made up of the nutrition, myself as the nutrition director, our health services with Deanna as our district health coordinator, PE teachers, school administration, and we fill out the Alliance for a Healthier Generation documentation that answers questions about our physical education and our nutrition services. They put a report together and send that back to us in October that tells us if we've completed the information, and then if all of this stuff is fully in place or partially in place, needs improvement. So this should be in your packet, but I put together our findings and I listed some of our strengths out and then some areas of growth that we could work on as a district. And under nutrition environment, we found that our strengths that McLean County Public Schools continue to provide a variety of food at or above the required criteria in all of our schools. Our food service managers and staff continue to meet or exceed the annual continuing education and training hours required by the USDA professional standard requirements every year. And we see that students have an adequate time to eat their school meals. Some areas of growth that we discovered, something that we're continuing to work on is all the food and beverages served and offered during the school day should meet the USDA Smart Snacks in schools nutrition standards, as well as fundraising efforts during and outside of school hours should be meeting the Smart Snacks in the school nutrition standards as well. So that's just something that we need to work on as a district for nutrition. And then under our physical activity environment, our strengths are sequential physical education curriculum consistent with standards. Students are active at least 50% of the class time. And we have professional development for the physical education teachers. And some areas of growth that we want to work on is the availability of physical activity breaks in the classroom and having licensed physical education teachers at all 5 schools. So we just basically wanted to list that out to you all to show that some of our strengths and then some of our areas that we want to work on. So we're going to recommend to KDE that we're going to work with school administration to ensure that vending machines, school stores, our canteens, concessions, a la carte cafeteria sales during the school day will meet the requirements established in 7 CFR 210.11. And we're also going to work with school administration to recognize which food and beverage products meet the USDA Smart Snacks and school nutrition standards in order to approve fundraisers as related to this 7 CFR 210.11. We will have to send this report to KDE no later than May 1st.
Okay. A lot of work goes into that.
Yes, we have a lot of people that put their input in, and then once we get the results back, we meet together again and come up with a plan.
It's good.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Melody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melody.
All right, I guess if that's all in the consent agenda.
Mr.
approval-
Miller, I'm sorry, I do want to let you know that we did have a virtual meeting that was open to the public. It was hosted yesterday, and I did need to make sure that I let you all know. We did have 4 people from the that attended the meeting that went over all this information as well, but we did not have any comments.
Oh, okay. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I guess approval of individual action items. The first would be consider approval of bills. I think you had a large packet to go that you took home, and then we had a 1 page of add-ons. If you'd like to look over those for a moment.
Yeah, I just still have that question. Does the Calhoun elementary school normally run that high for their
What-
electricity?
No, ma'am. Ashley's working on that. Something's going on because Ashley's never seen as high as a high school. And they're like, so something, plus we didn't have kids in the building over Christmas break or
Yeah.
teachers. So he's working with the company, to see what's going on. I don't know if he's on here. Are you on here, Mr. Troutman?
Yes, I am.
You have any?
Yes, I talked to Scotty Tuesday when I heard Ms. Bumpus bring it up, and Ms. Bumpus, you're exactly right. That bill was, and I did not catch that. I had not reviewed the bills on Tuesday, but yes, that bill is higher than typical. We went back, the past year looking at monthly bills just at that school. And like I said, yeah, it's a couple $1,000s higher than what it normally is. So we are looking into that. I did talk to Scotty. He did give a couple different things of reasons why it may be higher. One, he said it was colder this December than last December. Now, on the average, it was only showing like 4 degrees, so that's not that much. The reason I don't really like that idea is it would and should have affected other schools. The other thing he had mentioned was that he did turn the heat up at Calhoun School with less students in a room. Obviously, students put off body heat.
Right.
So some of the teachers were really talking about being cold and had asked him, could he raise the temperature setting a couple degrees so it would warm up a couple more degrees, and he did that at Calhoun. So we don't think that's the full thing, but that could be part of it. Again, bills do run a month behind, so that's really the time when we're not in school in December. The other thing, just because due to the pandemic, but again, this would have affected all the other schools. With students socially distancing, getting off school buses on car rider lines, and I have noticed this too, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast. The doors in the schools in the mornings and afternoons are staying open a lot longer. Again, for the main reason, pre-COVID, when a bus pulled up, you could open the door in a matter of 30 seconds. Every student was on the bus was in the building because they were all together. Now, when a bus pulls up, you're having to hold the doors open. They're standing out there taking temperatures. So obviously, colder air getting in the building, and then heaters potentially working harder, to try to heat those areas up. But yes, I appreciate you pointing that out to us. We are looking at it, but those were just a few of the things that he mentioned to me, just that he's thought of in the last day or two, since he's had a chance to kind of reflect on it and look at past bills.
Yeah,
The amount for January's bill last year was right under 5,800. And so it's definitely $1,000 higher than normal. And this year our average has been around, it's been from 5,200 to 6,200. So I'm going to say somewhere around 5,800 is our yearly average. So again, it's definitely $1,000 higher than our average this year.
Well, it just got me thinking, is there some faulty equipment? Was something left on?
Well, there's definitely
it
faulty equipment because we're trying to replace all that this summer.
Right. But I mean, it was just like, it just jumped out at me that, two of our older buildings are significantly less. So it was like, Okay. I just wanted, because we kind of cut off there. That's when the meeting kind of ended. So that I just kind of wanted to see if somebody was looking into that.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm good with the bill.
I had one question on it, and it's just on number 16, bus garage seat covers. Are these getting damaged, or is it just normal wear and tear normally?
Mr. Miller, most of that is normal wear and tear. A lot of those seat covers, if you feel any kind of metal, especially on the top of the seat cover, they have to be replaced. I'm not going to say that none of them, very seldom we have some vandalism. We do have that occasionally. And when we do, we try to identify who did that and have the student pay restitution for that seat cover. But I think for the most case, most of it was just normal wear and tear for the.
Yeah.
And Mr. Miller, I've been over transportation in another county before, but one of the things I find interesting about the seat covers, if it was in our car, we probably wouldn't ever replace it, but they have standards that have to be, it costs a lot on seat covers. Because if there's just a scratch or anything showing or you feel it, you have to replace it, put a new one in. They get you a lot on the seat covers.
Yeah. And I figured it was, but every once in a while, we see them occasionally on it, and I didn't know. I know at one time had to buy several, I think, starting out the school year. So just kind of checking on it. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Do we have anyone else have anything else for the bills? If not, Mr. Burrow, would you make a recommendation?
Yeah, I'd like to recommend that we pay the bills.
All right, heard the recommendation to have someone to make a motion. I'll remember it this time.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. How about a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. McMahon. All righty. If no other discussion, I'll signify by saying yes.
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 Yes. Opposed? All right. 5-0. Thank you. The next thing would be consider approval of bus order purchase 21-229 through the Kentucky State Contract procedure for a 66 passenger 2021 school bus for the amount of $99,210. And I think you said we get some discount on that.
That's the amount for the bus, but this one we have a grant for $25,000. So this one, the total purchase will be $74,210 out of our general fund instead of the $100,000.
All right. Any discussion? If not, Mr. Burr, I guess we've been.
Yes, we approved the purchase, the 66 passenger bus for our district.
All right. If someone make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Ms. Bumpus, thank you. Second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. No other discussion. I'll signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed? Noes? All right. Thank you. 5-0. And then next is, it's 6C, consider approval of bus order purchase 21230 through the Kentucky State Contract Procedure for a 52-passenger 2021 school bus for the amount of $105,679. And this too, I think we get some discounts on.
This one was dealing with the Volkswagen grant. We get rid of a special needs bus, and then we got a special needs bus that will have a lift. The percentage is 50% of the base price. The base price was $93,474. So when you add all this up, it's $46,737 grant we have on this bus. So our total out of general fund for this bus is $58,263. So basically for these two buses, if you approve this bus, total over two buses is $1,333,152. So we're getting two buses for $30,000 more we would get for one bus that usually do. So I recommend that we approve the 52-passenger purchase.
All right, thank you. I heard the recommendation. Here, have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Howard, second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Mr. McMahon. Okay, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, noes? All right, 5-0. We thank you. And next, I think it goes to Mr. Stokes, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Superintendent, members of the board. I will go over the Treasurer's Report for December of 2020. And I'm going to expand just a little bit since we do have two new board members. If I'm expanding too much, tell me to move on. And if I'm not expanding enough, feel free to ask questions. And as always, I want the board members to know, you can feel free to call me at any time if you have a question. So in the month of December, our revenues were $3,207,345.79. Our cash expenditures for the month were $1,005,720.69. That left us with a closing balance of $6,598,674.12. And just to make everyone aware, this was the month, December is when we got our first property tax check this year, which was a little over $2 million. So typically in a school year, your first 4 or 5 months, you run deficit. And then we have 2 or 3 really good months. Usually it's November, December, and January. The property taxes were behind a month this year. And then we start running deficit again to end the year. So congratulations to the new board members. You've joined during our greatest month of the year financially. So it's going to be a good report. So now I'd like to go through each of the accounts and the funds to tell you how much cash is available in there after reconciling the bank statements. Our general fund and payroll checking totals $5,358,503.36. And our general fund is basically our operating fund. It's where our state and local revenues go, and it's the bulk of our expenses come out of this. It basically, unless the law says I have to put it into another fund, it goes into general fund. Our special revenue fund has a balance of $6,893.19. The special revenue is a fund for restricted monies or committed funds. Basically, it's grants. That's our grant fund. And the bulk of our grants are a spend first and then request the money later. So don't be alarmed if this fund is in a negative amount. It's just because we've had a large expenditure go out and then we request the money, and usually, there's 2 or 3 weeks turnaround on that. So this month it's positive. Our district activity funds has a balance of $36,691.32. These are school funds that the school send to us to spend on their account, and they have control over these funds. And it's funds that are not student generated. The student generated funds have to stay at the school. That's a statutory requirement. Our next fund's capital outlay. We have $338,372.76 there. That fund is all of the 300 series funds are for capital projects or basically construction. Capital outlay is $100 for every ADA that we have, the student number of our average daily attendance. So the more students we have, the more that they actually come to school, the more money we have in this fund. And again, we usually use we'll use some of this money on the Calhoun HVAC project. It's for construction. Fund 32, our FSPK fund, has a balance of $57,065.02. This fund is derived from property tax collections. It's called the nickel fund, and a nickel for every out of every dollar goes into this fund that we collect on property taxes, and then the state equalizes those funds. Typically, we put in about 280,000, and the state matches it with about 240, 250. And this fund is where we make all our bond payments for. So when we sell bonds to put a new roof on Livermore Elementary, then we use this money to make those bond payments. If the bond payments are large enough, we actually can use capital outlay to make bond payments too. And when I started, we were using all of capital outlay and all of FSPK to make bond payments. And currently this year, we're not using capital outlay for any bond payments. So that way we can put that money as cash towards the HVAC construction project, and which then in turn lowers our bond payments in the future. Fund 36, our construction fund, it's showing a negative balance of $55,557.83. The construction fund is, when we sell bonds, the money goes into the construction fund to pay for the actual project that you're doing. The reason we're in negative amount is because we started this construction project before the pandemic hit, and we incurred some costs, and then we put it on hold because, after talking through it, we were afraid that there might be unavailable parts or labor, that we didn't want to get started in this project and not be able to start school on time because of the HVAC unit being down, the heating, vacuum and air conditioning unit. So once we sell bonds and the money goes back in here, then we'll have a positive balance again. So there shouldn't be any alarm for this negative number. It's part of the plan. Our school food service is Fund 51. Obviously, that's where our food program runs through. It has a balance of $76,363.08. Our after-school program has a balance of $10,292.07. I think that fund's self-explanatory. That's where our after-school monies come in and where we go to pay for our expenses and the labor costs incurred. Our community education fund has a balance of $1,120.85. And our trust and agency funds have a balance of $768,930.30. And what those funds are funds that are held for scholarships or held in a trust. And that is a very large number, but I want to make sure that the board's still aware, or for our new members, that about $740,000 of that is money we are not able to spend. It's held, and we are only able to use the interest earned each year for scholarships for our high school students. So while that looks like a large number, only 28,000 of it is actually available to write checks. And that's what we'll write in May to give out for several of the local scholarships to our students. So all of that money goes directly to our students when they graduate for scholarships. And again, our totals for those accounts total $6,598,674.12. So if there's no questions so far, I'll move on, but I'll be happy to pause for any questions. No? Okay. If you can scroll to the second page, please, Miss Christie. This is a page that it's a summary. It's a recap of Fund 1. It basically tells what revenues come in. And then at the bottom, I give you the expenditures for the month and tell you if we had a net increase or a deficit in our fund balance for the month. So you can see that we did receive our $2,006,000 and change in property tax. That's the very top left corner, the very first number there. That's out of a $2.3 million budget. And as I stated earlier, out of our property taxes, we will have to move about $280,000 of that into the FSPK fund, out of general fund. So that money will be sent over to FSPK once we start making some bond payments. If you can scroll down just a little bit, Christy, please. Right underneath the total local source, it starts our state source, and there is our SEEK program. It says $445,350. Last month, it was $472,000 and some change. On December 3rd, we were made aware we were going to have a meeting on December 4th. And then on December 4th, we found out that the state was going to cut our SEEK $300,000, and they filled it with some CARES Act monies, $300,000. The only stipulation was that we had to spend the extra, or the $300,000 filler by December 30th. So the recommendation from the state is go back and recode electricity or insurance or some big expenditure. So I actually drew up a plan and contacted the director over finance at KDE, Che Ritter, and just I verified with him everything was good, and he said, yeah. So we recoded our electricity at every building. We also recoded $119,000 worth of property insurance and our student liability insurance for $40,000, and met the requirement of the funds being spent by December 31st. Then over the next 6 months, they're going to continue to take money out of our SEEK to get back their $300,000 to equalize it, or to basically level it out. So we're not hurt by this. We just weren't helped. We actually thought we were going to get some extra CARES funds for expenditures during the pandemic, and the state used that to fill the SEEK gap that they were having. So what does that essentially mean for the board, or for me and Mr. Burrow when we're doing budgets? It basically means I can't use this year's electricity numbers to budget off of because they're going to be wrong. I can't use any insurance numbers to budget off of because they're going to be wrong. Our SEEK numbers are going to be understated by $300,000, so our revenues are going to be wrong. So basically, we won't use any 2021 school year numbers to make future decisions. It's a bad population of data, to make decisions on our students' future. So as we work through all these numbers, I want to reassure to the board that we're looking at this budget, if not daily, we're looking at it weekly, and trying to make sure that we stay on top of any extra pandemic costs and curveballs thrown to us by KDE. So I've gone over the CFR funds. They were the Corona relief funds. That was the $320,000 that they gave us, but they cut us $320,000 in SEEK. Mr. Burrow did mention that we're going to get another round of federal funding that's called ESSER 2. The projected allocation for us is $1,199,000. They've already told us to start recoding expenses again. And what scares me about that is, to me, that tells me that they're going to cut our SEEK again somewhere down the line. We are waiting for further instruction from KDE and Che Ritter's. He's the director over district support. He's actually told me that we are going to have a virtual meeting over these funds sometime early February. So I hope to have more information on these funds to the board at February's meeting. But right now, we just don't know. We don't know if they're going to be all new money on top of what we have, or if it's going to be partial new money and some of it's going to replace seat cuts that they're going to give us. So, but I do like to let you guys know what I know at the time I know it. So I know that we are going to be getting about 1.2 million from federal funding. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is what we mentioned during construction project earlier, is that I do plan to have Dwight Salisbury here from RSA to help the board with the resolution to sell bonds for the Calhoun HVAC project. So, yes, sir.
You might want to share with them, the new board members especially, and to refresh everybody else, out of our total general fund and our money that we have, the percentage of what we can use and what percentages of salaries.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So out of our general fund budget, about approximately 80% of that goes towards personnel, or for teachers and staff, which leaves us with about 20% to play with when we're actually talking about budget cuts, or when we're trying to save money. So that's actually a pretty good number. I know many districts are up in the near 85%. We have been as low as 76 and 77% before, but due to the lack of funding from the state over the last 4 or 5 years, our numbers increased up a little bit. So 80%, I think they'll probably teach you at, most of my friends teach the KSBA finance classes, and I think they'll probably teach you that 80% is a goal. And I think it's wise of Mr. Burrow to make sure that we mention to you guys we are really close, or actually ahead of achieving that goal. So that's an important piece of information. Thank you, Mr. Burrow. The only other thing I would like to mention is the last 2 pages of this report is basically a comparison to last year. And Ms. Christie, if you scroll down just to the end of that page, right there. If you'll notice, we had the 2.6 million in revenues, and our expenditures look really low, 488,000. Well, the 2 million is because we received 2 million in property tax checks. The 488,000, I won't ask Ms. Christie to scroll, but last year's amount was 816,000. Well, the difference is that 320 that we recoded. So I recoded $320,000 worth of expenditures in December. So technically, we would be closer to 808,000 in a normal December. So if you start comparing those numbers and then they look kind of funky, that's why. KDE did some funky math with us this month, and as I said, you feel free to call me anytime, and I'll try to explain in more detail if you wish. So that was a lot, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any at this moment on this report or anything else related to finance.
Thank you, David.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Christy, for scrolling for us. Appreciate it.
You need my recommendation, Mr. Miller? He may be up, froze.
I think his computer's down. I can hear him in the hall talking.
Hold the thing on for just a second.
My computer was saying Chrome, it was three minutes and 2 minutes, and anyway, it shut down.
Is Jason helping?
I haven't found it.
All right, Mr. Bowman? There he is.
He's on his way.
All right. was like, here we go again. Right at the end again. On the budget, the ESSER money, if I'm hoping it's not too good to be true, because that would really be nice, be able to use. And they're saying it, and how they say it now is different usually when it happens later, but they're saying mostly we could use it for different things, salaries and stuff like that. But it's like last time we thought we were going to get $300,000 and they robbed Peter to pay Paul. We didn't lose any money. They just said, oh, we're just going to use this. You're not going to get any extra. They wanted to say thank you, but well, I didn't say thank you because I just don't know what they're going to do to take away when they give us this money. It would be nice to give us something where we could use it on top of what we already have. So we'll just have some prayers for that we get to use a $1.2 million for our kids.
Yes, sir. The premise is this should be extra money for the extra needs that our students are going to have due to being out of school for a year or at least partially out for a year. And that's what we're hoping that we'll be able to use it for is for extra instruction and needs for our students. So, but I like to give a consistent and reality check report to typically when it looks too good to be true,
it is.
David, what's your gut telling you?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I really think some of this is going to be, we're going to have some money because our kids are going to need it. But I do believe they're going to cut our seats some more. Just the fact that Robin Kinney, who's the associate commissioner, is telling us to go ahead and recode salary, that's scary.
Okay.
That's something they've told us you can't do for the 16 years I've been here. You can't do that. Now they're going, yeah, you can. You can do it. And so.
Planting, is that what they call that, David?
Yes, because these are federal funds.
It usually is illegal, but but the state's doing it now. This is if we get this money. This is some of the money that I was thinking in my head for salaries, possibly for the summer program to help catch up the kids, because we're going to need a big program for our kids in the summer that need it. So hopefully, cross your fingers that this money is going to be there for us to help our kids in the summer and other things that we can move on with helping our kids with.
Well, we can only hope.
Yes. Jason should be getting Mr. Miller up and going here shortly.
So that being said, I'm assuming that there's already quite a bit of planning and discussion about what's going to happen in the summer for the kids.
Yes. We talked about it at the very beginning of the meeting.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Jody, you want to go back over with Ms. Gunnerman? We started planning some stages, and I'll let Jody go and share with you what Mr. Miller's come up, what she told the other ones earlier.
Oh, he's back on. I can talk to her after. That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, this is cracking me up.
My computer decided it was tired. Had to change me out. All right. And I lost out on a little bit of it there. Just our treasure. We need to vote on our treasurer's report, don't we?
Yes.
Right. We need a recommendation.
Oh, all right. Recommendation.
Yeah, I recommend we approve the treasury report as Mr. Stokes has presented.
All right. Recommendation made. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Gunnerman? Was that you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Second, Ms. Gunnerman. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aye, myself, 5-0. All right, thank you. And let's see. Personnel report, I think you have those, and you should be able to have the school reports. That should be about it. Any board members have any comments to make?
Is Miss Foster on?
No,
Yes,
she,
sir.
sorry.
Hey, I just want to thank you for the filming of the ball games.
Well, you're welcome. I personally haven't done it, but Mr. Lindsay and Miss Howard and Miss Decker have been responsible for doing that job, and they've done a great job.
Just pass it down. I thought the filming the other night was really good. So
Thank you. Thank you. I'll let them know.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to say thank you to Mr. Jackson for the, I don't know what they're called, but the little calendar. Thank you. It was appreciated.
Always use a mouse.
Mouse pad. That's it. Mouse pad. Thank you.
Okay. If that's all, do I hear someone would like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Bumpus, second.
Second.
All right, Ms. McMahon. Okay, all signify by saying yes.
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 All righty, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.